All right, so we're back. So as you guys know, a few weeks ago I made a video talking about how my friend MrStaple NBA's top 25 list is terrible and why mine is the best. And he responded to that. So I'm going to react to it and see what lies he's got to say. Let's go.
So, a week or two ago, I made my own top 25 current NBA players in the list, and I was pretty happy with it. I thought it was a very accurate list, but my friend Mario Dude 64 didn't, so he made his own top 25 list, pretty much just making fun of
Yeah, I did. I did do that. Because I'm awesome. Yeah, I'm awesome.
my top 25 list. In the comment section, he specifically called me out saying, "React to my video. I dare you."
Yeah, I dare you.
And he called his list
Oh yeah, drop that
the
like.
real top 25 NBA players.
Because it is the
So in
real
this
top
video,
25
I'll
NBA.
be explaining my picks for top 25
Alright.
and why they're there. And I'll be reacting to Mario Dude's list and making fun of his list just like he makes fun of mine in this video.
And making
I
fun
will
of
also
it.
be reading your comments at the end of the video,
Okay.
asking for answers on my top 25, basically answering questions about my top 25 list.
Alright.
Now, I know him in real life, so I'm already going to guess that
He's a pretty
Steph
cool
Curry
guy if
is
you didn't
number
know.
one.
That Mario Dude guy.
My top 25 current NBA players list.
Oh, why does my audio sound like that?
MrStaple NBA made his list a few days ago. His list was terrible.
Very terrible.
It was so inaccurate. So I just knew I had to make my own to show him with the real.
Those
And
edits.
thanks for all the words of encouragement, man.
I got you, bro.
Can I copyright claim this video? No, I wouldn't do that.
Top 25 players were. So here's his list. As you can see, he disrespected people such as Zach LaVine, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and so many more.
So many more.
Okay, so I can explain. This is a perfect time to explain some of my picks, such as Curry, Luka, Zach LaVine, and Trae Young, I think he said. Now, the reason Curry isn't higher is he didn't make the playoffs. Everybody above him made the playoffs. But
Alright, so he's saying Curry didn't make the playoffs, but Kevin Durant, who he has as number one, actually I had his number one too. That didn't go as planned. But let's say LeBron James. He was a 7 seed, had to play Curry to make the playoffs. If Curry wins that game, then your whole argument goes away. And he got eliminated in the first round with an all-star on his team. With an MVP candidate from previous years on his team. And that's your excuse? No, we can't do that.
But the reason I still put him on the same tier as everybody above him is because I know Curry's capable of being 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. I don't know. I know Curry's capable of being a top 3 player.
If he's capable of being top 3 player, then why don't you put him at the top 3? Me confused.
You might be saying, "Oh, well, Curry carried his team. They were 9 seed after coming from the 15th seed, and Curry
I actually exactly say that in my video.
averaged 32 a game or something like that." Curry's stats are kind of empty. Like, his team was not very good. Who else is going to shoot the ball 25 times a game?
Okay,
Curry has to shoot the ball. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is good enough to make it.
okay,
So his 32.
that excuse is so stupid. Like, you can't say he didn't have a good team, so his greatness didn't matter. Actually, it should mean he didn't have a great team, which means they were double teaming him, making it harder for him to score, which means his points were even better. And that 32 is even better than someone say LeBron James got it. So your argument there is completely stupid.
32 points is a bit inflated compared to players like LeBron or Kevin Durant, who are playing with other stars who are averaging less points a game. Kind of the same argument for Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic won more. And I'll make this argument for Trae Young and Luka at the same time. Both of them are probably bottom 10 defenders in the league. Luka's like a 6'7" point guard. That should give him some type of advantage on defense, but he's really still a bad defender. He's very slow, very unathletic. And they both shoot about 35% from three, which is league average for supposed three.
Yeah, that's because unlike other players, their threes are like between the leg, step back, crossover, all that kind of stuff. And they're still making 35%. That's crazy. You give them a wide open shot like other players, and they'll green up every single time.
3-point specialists. I will give it to them. They're not taking wide open threes like Danny Green.
I literally just said that.
They're taking like contested fadeaways. And the main reason I have Luka below the other tier above, and the main reason he's not on the tier above, is those guys are all winners. I hate saying it, but Curry is a winner. He led the team to 73-9 5 years ago.
Curry
He's
is
the
a
best
winner.
player on that team. Kawhi led the Raptors to a championship. LeBron made like 10 straight finals in a row or something. Giannis literally just won his first ring. And Kevin Durant, kind of hopped on Curry's team and won. Honestly,
That's a fair point.
KD goes, they win.
That's because every team he goes, he assembles a freaking super team. Of course he's gonna win. What? What are you talking about?
He said I disrespected Trae Young, but I don't know who I'd put Trae Young ahead of. Anthony Davis was injured for the back half of the season, so...
If he's injured, then he can't be the best player this season. Like, he had no influence in the playoffs because he was injured. We were ranking this on best players this season. If he's injured for the season, that doesn't mean he just gets to be buyed out from being bad. I don't understand your point there. His injury brings him down. Next year, if he's not injured, then I'll rank him a little higher because he'll actually play good. I don't understand what you're saying.
I kind of count that out of his resume. Chris Paul just made a finals run. Paul George gave the Suns a good run in the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi Leonard. Honestly, Paul George led the Clippers after Kawhi went out.
Okay. Alright, never mind. I was going to say that the Clippers had like the best bench in the NBA, and that's why. But to be fair, the Hawks bench was really good. Trae had a good supporting cast. But I don't think it was as good as Paul George's. Like, even without Kawhi, it wasn't as good as Paul George's.
Out with that ACL injury in the second. Booker also made a finals run. This is Kyrie's second best scoring year, and he's doing it with 3 other stars. But once again, Kyrie was also injured. And Donovan...
Alright, I'm just going to say before he gets to Kyrie on like the actual list. After doing my research after I uploaded the video, I realized that what I said about Kyrie was wrong. It was actually James Harden that started taking a bit of a step down, not Kyrie. So, yeah, I made a mistake. I'll own up to that.
Donovan Mitchell led the Jazz to the 1 seed. And the Jazz made a pretty far playoff run. Pretty far, I mean second round, but they were kind of close to beating the Clippers. I don't really know.
But if you can't you can't beat an injured Clippers team, and you're letting Terrence Mann drop 40 points on you. Like, Trae Young made a better playoff run, so you can't use playoffs as an excuse. You can't use that he almost beat an injured Clippers team as an excuse for why he's better than Trae Young.
I think it was a 4.
Like, the Hawks almost beat a healthy Bucks team. And notice that Giannis was injured, because when Giannis was injured, so was Trae Young. So
4-2 series for the Clippers.
So I'm making my own list. My rules for my list are I can only use
God, my audio's bad.
players that he put within his 25 to 1. So I'm not using any of his honorable mentions.
I'm just trying to show him how he's wrong.
At 25, I got Jaylen Brown, then Chris Middleton, then Bam Adebayo, then Zion Williamson, then Jimmy Butler, then Zach LaVine. Now, I put Jaylen Brown at 25 because he was the second best player on a team that couldn't even get past second round, or the first round, actually. So I just thought that he wasn't really that special. And at 20,
Hold on. Whoa. that
Whoa,
was a
whoa,
lot
whoa,
for the
whoa.
first player of the video. Jaylen Brown was injured. And honestly, the Celtics were just an all-around mess this year. Jaylen Brown couldn't get past the first round as a second
What
option.
is this?
Zach
It really
LaVine
looks like him,
couldn't
bro.
even get in the first round as a first option. And just a couple years ago, Jaylen Brown with no Kyrie, him and Tatum led the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they ended up losing against LeBron. Zach LaVine a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was a great playoff run. And actually, I'm gonna use that for why I don't like LeBron too. Just put asterisk. Is that even the right asterisk? I don't know if it's the right word. Putting like a not really good on that 2018 finals run that LeBron had. He went 7 games with an injured Celtics team. Like this isn't talking about Ben's video. I'm just talking overall. LeBron, where I put him on this list, number 5. Like he can't even beat an injured Celtics team. So, really?
So, I think that was when he tore his ACL in Minnesota.
or I
Those background noises, though.
Chris Middleton. Because Chris Middleton,
I swear, everything I say, he puts up a little thing, but right after I say it. Oh my god.
he proved that he was really clutch in the playoffs, and he helped the Bucks get to the championship. However, his stats really weren't that good, so that's why I'm putting him at 24.
Pet bird.
20,
I hear it.
I agree with Chris Middleton over Jaylen Brown, but I don't agree with Chris below Zach because it's like the Chris Bosh effect. Chris Middleton,
I don't know what is the Chris Bosh effect. What is that? Is it being the third best player on a finals team? Is that the Chris Bosh effect? I don't know.
could probably average 27 a game on the Bulls in place of Zach LaVine, but Chris Middleton's stats suffered to be a second option and win a championship. I'd rather be Chris Middleton than Zach LaVine. And Chris Middleton's stats were still pretty good.
Levine, 7 points per game. All-Star, Chris, +1 rebound. Former All-Star champion in big letters. Yeah, Levine has much better stats. 1 more rebound. Wow. Also, he's like a power forward, though. Not really, but kinda. And former All-Star isn't as good as All-Star. I'm sorry to say it. And champion, third best player on an average team. Well, not average team, best team in the league. But, like, next year, they're probably going to be the 4th or 5th best team. Just because that was a pretty injury-based season win for the Bucks. Can't take it away from Giannis or anything. He's great. But, I mean, it was very... They got helped by injuries a lot. But, no, let's watch the rest of this.
I don't mean to disrespect Zach LaVine. I really like Zach LaVine. But I just wish he'd make it to the playoffs. Honestly,
I do too.
He doesn't have to make a run like Devin Booker did to get a boost like Devin Booker did. He just has to make it and prove that he can play well there.
3, I got Bam Adebayo.
Okay, what he just said about Zach LaVine, I don't think he meant to, but he literally stole that exactly from my video. I literally talk about that, like, very soon.
He's a great player. He's been a great player for a few years. But at the end of the day, I can't put him higher than 23.
That was a dull
I got Zion Williamson.
Great
explanation.
explanation there, Mario, dude.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
You
I
can't put him higher.
I'll take the blame.
Now, something I want to explain is why isn't Bam an honorable mention and why isn't a player like Gobert on the list or Cat on the list? Just as a center, not just basketball player all around, Bam Adebayo in my opinion, just as good as a defender as Rudy Gobert or DeAndre Ayton. Honestly, maybe even better
No, he's
because Bam
not.
can guard 1 through 5. I think Bam has.
Well, yeah, he can guard 1 through 5 better than Gobert because Gobert is slow and Bam Adebayo's quicker. But they're centers. It's how they guard the center the best, and Rudy Gobert does that better. I mean, I still think Bam's better, but I'm just saying that statement's not right. I'm just trying to attack you in every way because you responded to my video.
Has the potential to have somewhat of a jump shot. He's getting there, but he's no Karl Anthony Towns from deep.
Luka has potential to be the greatest player of all time. I didn't put him at 1 because he already is the greatest player of all time. You can't base your list off of potential. Come on, Ben.
But Karl Anthony Towns isn't on this list because he had a rough year. He lost a couple family members, and I feel terrible for him. I feel like Cat will make it to this list next season. I like what the Timberwolves are doing, mainly because they have D'Angelo Russell. If you'd put all of these centers at point guard, I would take Bam Adebayo as a point guard. Bam's a pretty good playmaker for a center.
Williamson. He had a great season last season. However, he couldn't get his team to win much games, so that's why I'm keeping him pretty low on this list.
Wait, same thing with Zach LaVine, right?
At 21, I got Jimmy Butler because he took a
Yeah, it
big
kind of is
step
the same
down
thing with
from
Zach
last
LaVine.
season.
That's why they're really close to each other.
So he wasn't winning as much as last season, and he played worse than last season. Being at 20 is because he had great stats. He had like 27 points per game.
Were you scared to admit you're wrong about the Jimmy Butler thing, and that's why you cut it? I don't know.
I think like 8 or 7 assists per game. However, his team.
Doesn't he get like 7 or 8 assists a game? I mean, I didn't like do like a check, but why do you put question mark?
Like Jimmy Butler, Zion, Jaylen Brown, wasn't winning.
Let's see what he's got to say.
If he starts,
Zach LaVine did not average 7 or 8 assists a game. He averaged 5 a game. Still pretty good.
Okay, big difference. Okay. Also, I'm gonna say it. I bet the reason he cut that was so that he could Google how many assists a game did Zach LaVine get, so that he could call me out. Because no one just knows off the top of their head how many exact assists per game Zach LaVine gets. And if you do, honestly, I'm very impressed.
Good, but he's no playmaker like Chris Paul or something.
Well, yeah, because he's a
Jaylen
shooting
Brown
guard.
averaged 3 less points than Zach LaVine while playing amazing defense. Jaylen Brown is a great defender. And Mario Dude's just ignoring that and just saying Zach LaVine scores 3 more points, so Zach LaVine is 5 spots better.
winning though next season, I would see him going up to like 15 or something.
I'll agree with that.
At 19, I got Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, and Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Paul George, and Trae Young. I got.
Already.
Here, I'm just gonna pause it for a sec. I don't know why I sound so depressed making this video. I'm like, at 19, I got Kyrie Irving, then Bradley Beal, then Anthony Davis. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in this. Maybe it'll sound like that for this one too. That's just how it records. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there.
Already, I see a couple humongous flaws in his list, but I'm gonna let him explain them.
Yeah, let me explain them,
I
Ben.
hope he has a good point.
Let me talk before you judge me.
Kyrie at 19 because he was the third best player on a Nets team that couldn't get past the second round. Nets are still a great team, but Kyrie also took a big step down from.
I'm pretty sure I said this earlier, but all the stuff I said about Kyrie is wrong. He's proven me wrong right here, putting the stats up. So, I already admitted that I was wrong on this one. So whatever you say, I'm just gonna ignore it.
Basically every season pre-LeBron joining the Cavs.
Wow, he really exposed me.
21 points per game.
Okay, you don't gotta do this. Come on,
Wait,
man.
wait. 21 points per game. Me editing the video, put up his stats on the screen right now.
I
This
did.
was
Don't
his
tell me
second
what to
best
do.
scoring season. This was his first best scoring, healthy most
That was a
of the
funny
year
idea.
season.
I'm not gonna lie.
And then in the playoffs, he got injured, so you can't blame him for a playoff loss. He wasn't playing.
Yeah, I know. I messed up on
Kyrie
Kyrie.
got to be higher than this.
Don't bully me.
The reason I have Kyrie above players like Jason Tatum or Beal or Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell is because when Kyrie is on his own team or
All right, so the only one that I would have over that is Bradley Beal, maybe, or under Kyrie is maybe Bradley Beal. I still believe that all those players are better than Kyrie, not for the reasons that I listed, but I mean, it's easy to get points when you have people are so focused on James Harden and Kevin Durant that Kyrie's just wide open, sit in the corner right here, I'm wide open. They're so worried about Durant that he gets open shots, and that's not how it was in Cleveland. Because I remember back in the 2017 or 18 finals, they were double teaming Kyrie, not LeBron. So it's different.
or playing with a balanced team around him like the Celtics, they're a very good team. Like the Celtic Kyrie teams, other than being a mess in the locker room, were a great team. All right, well, not great, but good enough to make a good playoff run. The reason I
Not
put
great.
Tatum this low is because he had a good team with him. They made the 7th seed. I did say the Celtics were an all-around mess, but Tatum is supposed to be the leader of that team. Brown is just a very good second option, like Bam Adebayo or Chris Middleton. The reason I have Beal above Tatum is because Beal's team around him was trash. I know he had Westbrook, but Westbrook played terrible.
He played terrible.
Played terrible
Yeah.
the first half of the season, and once Westbrook started playing good in the back half of the season, the Wizards made a run and made the playoff. If they played like they did in the back half of the season the whole year, honestly, the Wizards would be better than the Celtics.
He wasn't as ball dominant this
Yeah,
season.
they're always praying terrible.
Or James Harden, Kevin Durant's job to score.
Harden ran the offense so Kyrie and KD should do what they best. Score.
Option.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to stop giving him so much credit because Kyrie's getting open shots because there's two other MVPs on his
Everything
team.
is a lie. Now, I'm going to explain another thing about my list. The reason Harden is still a top 10 player, I wanted to put Harden above a player like Jokic or Embiid, but they were top 2 in MVP votings and led their teams on their own to high seeds. Embiid was a 1 seed in the East. The reason Harden is higher is because, in my opinion, Harden had a very good season proving he can play with other stars. Harden took a lead playmaker role, gave up scoring to Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Once Harden joined the Nets, he only averaged 24 a game. That number is inflated because the Nets had a lot of injuries during the season, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie going out, so Harden would play on his own or only with one of them. But basically, other than the year that Harden played point guard on the Rockets, this was Harden's best assisting year by pretty far. Since Kyrie joined Boston,
All right,
this is Kyrie's
that makes
second
sense.
to worst assisting season, but his second best scoring season. And I know that's only out of 4 seasons, but
Like I said before, he's
once
getting
he
easier
started playing
shots
with
because he's got
Harden.
MVPs on his team.
and
But
Kevin
okay.
Durant did his scoring go up and his passing went down. I don't know, I just find that weird.
Also, I'm just gonna say it right now. You guys don't know. He is a huge Nets fan. So all of this is coming with bias. Now you could say that me ranking Curry at 2 is with bias. But I feel like it would be crazy to say that Curry's not top 2. So there's a bit of a difference between my bias and his bias. Everyone's in agreement that Curry is great this season. Not everyone's calling Harden and Kyrie amazing, though.
Weird. 18, I could put Bradley Beal there because, like people like Zach LaVine, he had great stats, but his team wasn't really winning. At 17, I had AD.
I'm going to semi-agree with the Bradley Beal take. I'll agree with it. But now he's going to explain Anthony Davis at 17, and my head just might explode.
He had one of his worst seasons as compared to the past for him.
He was injured.
However, he's still AD, so you gotta put him at 7.
That was a...
Okay, so he was injured. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. You can't put an injured player at 11. He's not better than Trae Young because he didn't have the great moments that Trae Young did because he wasn't playing to have those great moments that Trae Young did. For the amount of time that he played, he was a top 17 player. Tell me I'm wrong.
Terrible explanation for putting Anthony Davis at 17. He didn't give much reason. He said he had bad season. But bad season due to injury. Not bad season due to bad play.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about this season, though. This season, he had a bad season because of injury, which is why he's the 17th best player this season. I don't know why. He's like contradicting himself.
Now, I'll give it to you. Anthony Davis did have a down year. That's why he's at number 11, but I know that he is as good as everybody else on his tier. He just had a worse season than all of them. And I'm going to be honest, last year, I had Anthony Davis top 5.
At 16, I got
I'd like to see that list.
He did a great job leaving the Jazz to a 1 seed, but he did nothing too special, and the 15 players ahead of him are just better. Now I put Jason Tatum at 15 because he's capable of going off for 40, 30, 50 points a game, and not a game, but like you can get games where he gets 50, 40, 30.
And Donovan Mitchell can't? Donovan Mitchell's just as capable of a scorer as Jason Tatum is. Wait, hold on. I just looked at Basketball Reference right now, and they literally both averaged 26.4 a game. Under PTS 2020-2021, 26.4. 26.4. They average the same amount of points. What does he mean? This guy is really a sucker for light skins who shoot contested threes.
Oh my god. That is how I ranked my list. I have so many light skins that shoot threes on my list. And I have them really high up. Okay. That was the only factual thing you've said in this video. It's kind of funny.
He can just put the Celtics on his back, which is what he's been doing for the last few years.
Yeah, that's true.
14.
Don't pause
Okay,
it.
now I understand why he put Jaylen Brown so low. He just thinks Tatum carries on his own.
Because he
Which
did.
he has done for the past few years. Man, he had Kyrie
Yeah,
and
now you're agreeing with me.
and Jaylen Brown and Al Horford.
Now to Chris Paul. He came in and took a Suns team that was a 10 seed, and he put him in the NBA Finals.
That's pretty good.
They missed the playoff for 10 straight years. Then he joins the team, and they make the finals. I don't think I have to say anything more.
Wait, so if Chris Paul makes all that impact on the Suns, then where's Booker?
Yeah, he's higher on the list. Because he's better than Chris Paul. You know, Devin Booker was just starting to feel it. You know, he went 8-0 in the bubble. And then all he needed was just a little bit of a helper. Like Devin's little helper. Like he's like an elf. He is small, Chris Paul is. He is an elf. Anyway, he got his little elf, his little helper. And they started winning. Devin Booker is making that jump. Just because he made that jump between bubble or between shutdown of NBA 2020 and start of 2021 doesn't mean that he's not better than Chris Paul. He had a better season than Chris Paul. I don't really know what you're saying. Just because the Suns got better since Chris Paul joined didn't mean he made the difference. They were going 8-0 in the bubble. They were already starting to make that difference. Chris Paul was just the finishing touch that they was added.
I'm going to be honest, Booker might be in the top 10. I'm pretty sure he's going to put Booker in the top 10. Oh, no.
What do you mean, oh
If
no?
Chris Paul's the one who had all the impact on the Suns, why is Booker in the top 10? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but basically, you can't say I didn't tell you that he's a sucker for light skins that shoot contested threes.
I love how he's showing the highlights of the one game of the playoff. Well, one of like 5 games in the playoffs that Chris Paul outplayed Devin Booker. That game was crazy though. He dropped like 43. He's hitting threes like crazy.
He's got to have Booker in the top 10.
I do.
Because he bumped Anthony Davis down to 17.
Yeah, he is.
There's 11 players on
He is
my
in the top
list
10, by
left
the way.
that have to be on his.
At 13, I got PG-13, and after coming off of one of his worst seasons in 2020, where he was getting joked about, called Pandemic P.
Joked out? What am I saying?
Playoff P. But he came back, and he had a great season, and even came up clutch in the playoffs without Kawhi. However, he couldn't get...
Okay, he better not say anything about this, because I'm 99% sure that he had Paul George at 13. So if he says anything about this, then he's going to contradict himself.
Get it completely done, and he's 13 for me. At 12, I got Trae Young.
He said, Paul George couldn't get it completely done, and neither could Trae Young. They both lost in the same round. And I'm going to be honest,
Yeah, Paul George lost to a Suns team. Let's put it in perspective. They both lost in 6 games. However, Paul George lost to a team that couldn't win the championship. Trae Young also lost in 6 games to a team that did win the championship. And the Suns, they even played pretty bad in some of those games. Like, they had times where Devin Booker was scoring like 15 points in that series. So I don't really understand his point here. That's just my reason that I put Trae Young above him.
Paul George didn't have a terrible last season. He's just so inconsistent. Honestly, I really like Paul George. Did I say that in the other video? I like defensive players that can win, like Paul George.
He finally was able to make the playoffs, and in his playoff debut, he did amazing.
He did do
Brought
amazing.
them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and only 2 games away from the finals. And
Same with Paul George. 2 games away.
Trae Young had a great season, great playoffs. Not much I need to say there.
I already explained how those different 2 games were the same, or were those 2 games away were different than Paul George's. And also, same thing led his team to the playoffs. What are you talking about? Like, what? 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 Kawhi Leonard played all season. He led them to the playoffs. Paul George was just there to take over once he got hurt.
Oh, well, spoilers. Go back. He says, not much I need to say there, but I want to
There
know
is not
why
much I
he
need to
has
say there.
Trae Young over Paul George. If the reason he had Paul George so high is because he had a good season compared to last season, and he led his team to a deep playoff run. Why does he have Trae Young over Paul George? No. Why does he have Trae Young over Chris Paul? Chris Paul literally led him to the finals.
because he didn't lead them to the finals. He was the second best player on a team that made it to the finals. Chris Paul is not even. We're talking about Paul George and Trae Young right now. He's not even part of the discussion. But if you want to add him to discussion, it's because he's the second best player. Trae Young's path to the his 6-game series was harder than Paul George's. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna be honest. I just
Also, if Paul George was going solo throughout the first round, he would have gotten swept because he had Kawhi Leonard, arguably a top 5 player in the league, a player capable of bringing a Raptors team to a championship against the Warriors when they were good. And they were down 2-0 to Luka Doncic. You think Paul George would have been able to win against a team that was able to take him and a really, really great player to 7 games? Of course not. I think they would have gotten swept.
don't like Trae Young. I don't like the way he scores. Just he lets people push him around, and that puts him at the line. I don't know. The way Harden draws fouls is he puts his arms in other people's arms, and he fouls them.
I mean, I don't know what he's going to say, but if he's about to justify Harden's way of drawing fouls and not justifying Trae Young's, then I'm going to lose my mind. Because Trae Young gets to the free throw line because he's a small guy and the big guys pick on him and they foul him. James Harden goes jumping on the other players, running into them, and somehow gets the whistle to be blown. So if he justifies James Harden and says no to Trae Young, then I swear to God I'm going to lose it.
Them for them to foul him. I don't know. I find that Harden takes like creativity into it.
Creativity? Creativity. Oh my God. I don't think how is he saying this? Creativity. James Harden's just stupid way of playing offense where he just runs into the players, kicks his feet out on a step back just to get a 3-point and one is creative. Wow. This is fun. Oh my God.
Young just lets people push him. And it works, so I mean, can't discredit him, I guess.
You can't discredit him.
Trae Young had a great season, great playoffs. Not much I need to say there.
Not much I need to say.
At 11, I have Joel Embiid. He had to carry the Sixers this season. Obviously, through the playoffs, he had got like no help from Ben Simmons, so he just had to do all the heavy lifting. But I think he's a bit overrated. People always saying that he could be the MVP. I don't think he's as great as people say.
Yeah. I'm right about that.
Why?
At 10, I got Devin Booker.
Why? What do you mean why?
Despite CP3.
People keep forgetting. Before that Hawks series, people are saying Ben Simmons is a top 5 point guard in the league. Like before all that Hawks drama, I guess, everyone loved him. And they were called the dynamic duo. So, the whole Ben Simmons thing is a little weird.
Bringing the Suns from Tennessee to the 2.
Wait, so we're just gonna ignore that Embiid is like terrible? Embiid averaged like 30 and 10 or something. I mean, don't quote me on that. I haven't looked at his stats, but he averaged 30, 10, and like 4 or something, and he led the Sixers to the 1 seed. And like you said, with Ben Simmons playing like Ben Simmons pretty much just giving up. I don't even know what he played like. He played like trash. So Embiid carried the Sixers, right? Why is he so bad? I don't know. I don't even know. Oh man.
Sorry, if you hear my dog barking in the background. Yeah, that's he's just barking. Well, Ben's bird chirps during his videos, so it's fine.
He better have a good explanation for why Booker's up there.
See, Devin Booker was still the better player on the Suns team. He took a big leap from his previous years, and he proved that he can be a championship leader, or a leader on a championship team.
That's what Chris Paul was. He was the leader of the team, Chris Paul. He came in and he turned that team around. I know you're probably...
Alright. I was about to say something, but it looks like he's showing bubble highlights, so I'm gonna hold it for a sec.
saying, oh, the bubble, the bubble. The bubble was a very different situation. I don't know. But he did do good in the bubble, I'll give him that. Or the Suns did good in the bubbles, I'll give them that. When without Chris Paul...
It seems like he's just gonna brush it off as an I'll give him that moment. But like I said earlier, I already said this in the video, so I'm not gonna really go in depth into it. Or in deep into it. Suns were already getting good. Chris Paul just came at the right time.
Devin Booker's team wasn't winning at all. But when Chris Paul was on another team without Devin Booker, like the Thunder, who were predicted to win like 17 games or something like that, he led them to the 4 seed. Chris Paul is like the ultimate ceiling raiser. And the ultimate floor raiser. That might be Russell Westbrook, but...
That Thunder... I'll agree with you on the Thunder thing, but
really
Devin Booker
like
was
Devin
the better
Booker's
player on this team.
above Chris Paul. Or Embiid.
At 9, I got James Harden. This is one of his first years since his OKC days that he was not the best player on this team. And his stats kind of suffered from being the second scoring option.
Third. Coming from a Nets fan. Third.
He's still James Harden. He didn't have a bad season.
You're right, he had a great season.
Okay, buddy.
So I got him at 9. At 8, I got Damian Lillard.
I'm pretty sure I already explained why Harden's so high. He proved that he can be an elite playmaker on a very good team. Like, if any of you watched that Jimmy Highroller video about the Nets being unstoppable, I couldn't agree with it more. Harden is such a good scorer, as he proved.
You're such a Nets fan. You're like a Nets, kind of like me with the Warriors, but I'm staying unbiased for this video. He just ignores everything and just goes full on Nets mode. Look at there's a red bar on all these Nets videos. Oops.
Proved earlier, the defenses have to focus on him, but he's such a good playmaker that when they do focus on him,
oh my God, he's showing James Harden playmaker. He's talking about James Harden being a playmaker, and then he's showing Joe Harris in the 3-point contest. Are you saying that James Harden is dropping dimes to Joe Harris in this 3-point contest? What? He wasn't even on the team back then. What does this clip have to do with James Harden? What?
the other stars on the team.
Oh yeah, Joe Harris, you
and then
shoot
the
those
other role
threes.
players on the team,
James Harden is
like
helping
Joe
you.
Harris or Bruce Brown are going to benefit from it too. He just makes the team better, I guess.
He just makes him better. Of course he does. He's James Harden.
The whole Trailblazers on his back like he does every season. And he had a great season, great stats, but struggled to bring Portland past the first round. But it's not at all his fault.
I kind of agree with what Mario Dude is saying here. I think
What is
in
this
a
video?
Trailblazers jersey, Lillard has peaked. That one year he led them to the conference finals. But
I agree.
in like a different jersey, I think Lillard has a better chance of making the top 5.
I
So,
agree.
unless the Trailblazers
He still ain't no Steph Curry though.
trade for another superstar to help him, Dame gotta go. I'm sorry, Trailblazers. Oh yeah, if you hear my pet bird screaming in the background, I'm sorry. He's very annoying.
My dog's barking. It's fine, though.
His teammates weren't. At 7, I got Nikola Jokic. He was the MVP this season. However, I think he was a little bit overrated. I got.
I agree with you on the placing. I think, yeah, he's 6 on my list. Mario
Yeah.
literally just said
Because you had him
he's not
there.
much higher than 7, but just said that. In his case, I don't think he's making a part 2 going into detail about explaining why players are where.
He's not making that video. Where am I now? Where am I now? Oh, wrong you are again, just like this whole list.
In my case, I specifically said part 1 to my list, just so I could get the rankings out on the internet, and so somebody like Mario Dude could react to it or make his own version
What's
of
that
it,
supposed to mean?
and I could explain the picks. I want to know why Nikola Jokic can't get any higher.
Kawhi Leonard. He led the Clippers before going out with injury, and you could see the difference between when he was on the court and when he was off the court. He was able to take down a Luka-led Mavericks team that did really good in the playoffs, or did really good with Luka. Yeah, he got like 40.
A Luka that did really well in the playoffs. Luka's team did awful in the playoffs. Luka had to carry them, and he still couldn't finish it.
Points in 4 games. Yeah, Kawhi was still able to take him down, and then after he left, they couldn't get to the finals. So, still great player. Put him in at number 6. Now at number 5, I got LeBron James.
Okay, Mario, getting fancy with the edits.
A lot of people put him.
I was kind of proud of myself with those edits, I'm not going to lie. It was just a Google slideshow with me putting a background of the Lakers with a picture of LeBron, but, getting pretty fancy for me, eh?
Expected me to put him at 3, 2, or 1, but I think he took a step down this season and last season. He's getting old. I think he's 37, 38.
He's 36, I think. Wrong.
He didn't have
Bad, Andrew.
How's he going to take a step down last season, but then win a championship? So, LeBron's step down is still championship level? That's
not-
something. That is.
That's not what I meant. I meant the Anthony Davis was added to the team, and they were about equal. When you get 2 great players, and you put them together, 2 top 5, well, not 2 top 5, but when you get 2 great players, put them on the same team, they're both gonna take a step down, but yet the team's gonna get better. That's what I meant.
Something. And LeBron himself was also injured for a long time in the season. So, the Lakers had a very injury-riddled season, basically. And I think if they were healthy.
Why does his jump shot kind of look like old Lonzo's? I'll never look at LeBron again the same way.
Healthy, it'd be a different story.
season, but he's LeBron James. You got to put him in the top 5.
No. Ah! Why is
No.
I was going to make a comment on him not really explaining LeBron's placement well, but I don't explain my placement.
I explained it well here. And I'm going to explain Luka.
Well,
You'll see.
I don't know. But then I see Luka Doncic pop out on my screen at number 4.
Is that
Hasn't even
Boban
got out of
bodying
the
him?
first round yet, and
Oh
you're
my
already putting him
god.
above a player like Kawhi Leonard.
Look at him.
Who literally beat Luka Doncic, by the way, and has led a team to a championship. I really don't know what to say about this one.
Well, that's Luka scoring.
The reason I have Luka lower, in my opinion, not as much as a
Okay,
winner,
Boban!
which basketball-wise,
Sorry, I just completely ignored what he was saying because I was too busy on those Boban highlights.
is a big thing. If you notice on my list, the top 5 all have rings while being the best player, or maybe in KD's case, the second best player, but I don't know. Topic for another day. They all have rings while, leading their team. 6 through 11, other than Anthony Davis.
Wait, if that's going to be your excuse, that makes no sense because Luka was destroying Kawhi. So I don't really understand what you're saying. If Kawhi's better because he was getting rings, he was getting owned by Luka, and if he didn't have Paul George on his team, he definitely would have lost. Because Luka was owning him at the beginning of that series.
Davis, none of them have rings. And Anthony Davis, you could argue he had a Mickey Mouse ring, ooh, or
Bubble guppies.
but without LeBron, Davis really hasn't won. I don't know what else to say. Pelicans, they didn't even make it out like the second round or anything.
Number 4, I got Luka Doncic. He's capable of going off for 40, 50 points in any given game. And he comes up in the playoff. When the playoff time comes.
He comes up in the playoffs? What does that mean? I meant to say he comes up big in the playoffs. But I don't even know what that means.
He gets better.
Wasn't this his exclamation for Jason Tatum, too?
He had 4 40-point games in that Clippers series. But his teammates weren't really helping him, so he couldn't defeat them. However, he's a great player, and I expect him to be probably the MVP next year, and maybe the greatest of all time.
Should I make a way too early predictions for like MVP, DPOY, and stuff like that? That'd be a fun video. Luka, if he wins an MVP, I'll put him in the next tier, but so far, he didn't win MVP.
Really? I didn't know that.
His team has never been better than like a 4 seed. And they never made it out of the first round.
Actually,
So,
he was
not
never
much I
better
can
than
say
a
here.
5 seed.
The Mavericks are built for a star to come play for them. If LeBron was on the Mavericks would be a much better team than if Luka was on the Mavericks. You have a good second scoring option.
Is he trying to say that the Mavericks bench help? Because I watched every game of that Clippers-Mavs series, and his teammates were terrible. I mean, his teammates aren't that bad overall, but in that series, they were terrible. So if you're saying put LeBron there and he would do better, I completely disagree. LeBron wouldn't have been able to do anything if he had teammates like the Mavs in the playoffs. No.
Chris Dobbs, and I know he had a terrible playoffs, but he is capable of being an elite scorer. And at 7'3", he's kind of like at 7'3".
If he was an elite scorer in that playoffs and he actually helped Luka, I think Luka could have maybe even won the championship. I took down the video from a while ago of my 2021 NBA playoff predictions, but I had Luka winning it all. And that's because I believed in his bench, because it was actually a good bench. And if they didn't play so terrible, or not bench, player, teammates, in the, because I believed in his teammates, and if his teammates actually played well in the playoffs, I think that Luka could have won the championship.
3, he's a stretch big and a quality third scoring option in Tim Hardaway Jr., a good pass first point guard.
I love these
Aaron
Boban
Brunson,
highlights.
Two-way players like Dorian
Yeah,
Finney-Smith,
Boban.
Josh Richardson, and of course Boban. I don't know, the Mavericks are just
Boban.
built for a star to come save them.
I like
And
Boban.
so far,
Yeah,
he
Boban.
hasn't done that, but I hope he can eventually.
If all goes right. Number 3, I got Giannis. He's coming off of his first championship where he led the Bucks. Obviously, he was doing the most, dropping 50 points, 40 points, and multiple 40-point games in the finals. He had a great finals coming off of injury. He also had a great season for the last 3. He was 2-time MVP, 1-time Finals MVP. Not much I got to say. Giannis is 3. Number 2, I got.
Oh man. Uh-oh.
I had a feeling he would react crazy to Curry at 2, because he hates Curry. He's biased in the opposite way of where he hates Curry. But objectively, Curry had he probably had the best season this year. But overall, he's the second best player in the league right now. I don't think I'm wrong. I didn't make a mistake here. Whatever he's about to say is the real mistake.
So his reason for putting Giannis at 3. Is he just won a Finals MVP and he won a regular season MVP for the last 2 seasons before the...
If he uses Curry not having a Finals MVP as an excuse, then that's just stupid. Because Iggy shouldn't have won it in 2015. And if Kevin Durant didn't join him in 2017, the Warriors probably would have still kept making the finals and winning the finals, and he would have gotten that Finals MVP because he wouldn't have been Kevin Durant's shadow. So, just no.
For this season, Curry hasn't done any of that in the last 2 seasons. Actually, Curry has never won a Finals MVP. I'm going to listen to what he says about Curry. I'm going to make sure I don't punch a hole in my wall, too. But I completely disagree with this ranking.
Got Steph Curry, my favorite player.
Clearly.
Took a Warriors team that was the 15th seed and brought him to a 9th.
He literally just says, my favorite player, so he's admitting that he's biased, pretty much.
I'm not admitting that I'm biased. Because if I was doing it from what my bias would want me to do, he would be number 1. I'm putting him at number 2 at a generous for Kevin Durant. Because now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have put him at number 1. This is not at all biased. All your Nets rankings were biased, but this was not biased.
Seed, technically, well, his record was an 8 seed, but lost in the play-in tournament, so he was a 9 seed. And he just had a great season, 32 points per game. Just put the Warriors on his back. I bet
32 points per game with nobody else that can score. So if Giannis was on a bad team, like today's Giannis, he'd average 32. If LeBron had to, he'd average 32, but he'd carry a bad team to the playoffs.
I already talked about this with like the Nets and stuff, but Curry, he was the only person on the Warriors that could really score. So they were double teaming and even triple teaming him sometimes, which made his shots more impressive. So that 32 points was more impressive than a 32 from someone else.
Like in 07 or 2018, LeBron would carry this Warriors to like this 4th seed. Same thing with Kawhi, and I don't know about Giannis, but probably Giannis. And I'm just realizing Curry's number 2. Kevin Durant is number 1. Curry's number 2. Oh man, I didn't expect this from him.
He's going crazy.
I did not expect this from him. Did he like finally wake up? Did he finally like listen to basketball and notice Kevin Durant's better than Curry? Congratulations. You're not dumb anymore.
Okay, now I regret putting KD at 1.
by the end of the season. It's just a great season, great player, but not enough to be the best player in the NBA. The best player in the NBA is Kevin Durant. He's coming in at my number 1 spot.
Ooh, he did it. He's correct with this one. He is definitely correct with this one.
You can hear the Nets fan inside of him. The excitement of seeing Kevin Durant at that number 1 spot. Oh my god. He did it. He did it. He said that.
I was thinking of putting Curry and maybe even Luka ahead of him, but
Yeah, you're not going to put Luka ahead of Kevin Durant.
at the end of the day, I came to the realization that Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA. He's the type of player that not even the best defenders can stop him if he's playing at his best.
You can't see this right now because I'm not using a webcam, but I just made the Pug Champ face staring at my screen. I'm surprised he's this nice to Kevin Durant.
He was literally inches.
Because unlike you said, I'm not actually biased. Kevin Durant, like I've seen him. He just puts the ball above people and then he shoots it and it goes in. From mid-range, from 3-point range. He's a great player. I'm not going to deny greatness. But you can't deny Curry's greatness either.
Centimeters away from probably winning the championship because if he got past those Bucks,
confident with that. It makes me feel like he actually means what he's saying right now.
Yeah, I did mean what I said.
I probably got a new video coming out when 2K22 does. I'm gonna play some my team, probably some my career. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe. Go check out MrStaple NBA.
Alright, yeah, go sub to him. Now, for the second part of this video, this might...
Alright, that's pretty good.
This part 2 might have to be split up into 2 parts. I'm going to be responding to some comments on my old video.
Responding to some comments. Alright, I'll comment on this video. I can't show you, you can't see the comment, but because it's focused on the YouTube part, but I'm ready to go right now. Alright, well, I'm going to end the video right here. If he reacts to this one, we're just going to keep the chain going, probably. Reacting to. But, yeah, it was a good video. Like I said, new video coming out when 2K22 does. Check out MrStaple NBA. Peace.